Hi class, welcome back to a new year. If you've reached this video, go ahead and grab your 2.2 proportions part 1 notes and we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so we'll start by defining what proportions are. Proportions are when two ratios or fractions are equal. When we have two fractions or two ratios that are equal, they are proportion. So in order to determine if two ratios are proportional, we can use this method. Simplify and compare. So we're going to do two examples of that below. Our first example question asks us if these two fractions are proportional. Okay? So I'm going to simplify each and then I'm going to compare them. So I'm going to start by simplifying 2 over 4, which I know that 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. They both can be divided by 2. So I can simplify that to 1/2. And that's as far as I can go. Now 8 over 11, I have to ask myself, is there any number that I can simplify both of these by besides 1? Because if I divide both of them by 1, I'll just get the same thing. And no, there isn't. Okay? So this is all we have. This is as simplified as it's going to get. So now that I've simplified, I'm going to compare the two. Based on our definition, is 8/11 and 1/2 equal? The answer is no. So these two are not proportional. Now, let's move to our next example question. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to simplify these two ratios and then I'm going to determine if they are equal. So here we go. If I look at 3 over 5, I can see that there's nothing that I can divide the 3 and the 5 by to further simplify it. So this is all I have. This is as simple as it's going to get. But 15 over 25, I know that I can divide 15 and 25 by 5 to simplify. So I'm dividing the top and the bottom by 5. 15 divided by 5 is going to give me 3. 25 divided by 5 is going to give me 5. So now that I've simplified, and ask myself and compare, is 3 over 5 and 3 over 5 equal? And the answer is yes. Therefore, these two ratios are proportional. Okay? Now, when we're solving proportion problems, you may see a problem that requires you to solve for a variable. So we're going to work some problems below that are going to kind of prepare you for what's coming next in the rest of the task sheet. So as we can see, when we're solving proportional type of problems, what we're going to do is use the cross product method. So I'm going to show you some examples of how we're going to use that method. So for example, we have 2/5 equals x over 35 and we want to solve for x. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw an arrow down here and we're going to crisscross and draw an arrow here. What this means is we need to set up this problem as so. 5x equals 35 times 2. Okay? Notice that 5x does mean the same thing as 5 times x. Okay? So, now we're going to come over to the side and we're going to multiply 35 times 2. Bring down our equal sign. That's going to give us 70 equals 5x. Now, in order to get the x alone, what we're going to do is divide both sides by 5. Okay? And then our final answer here is going to be, once we divide out, you can pause here if you want to come back. But our final answer should be x equals 14. Okay? So that's how you solve for solve a proportion. Now, I want you to go ahead and see if you can do example 2 and then come back and see me work it out. Alright, if you're back, we're just going to work it out. I drew the problem over here so I can have a little bit more space. So I'm going to set up my problem, doing the cross product method. I'm going to say 3x equals 27 times 1. Now, I know, put this dot as my multiplication symbol. Sorry. All right. I know that 27 times 1 is the same thing as 27, so I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to bring my 3x down. In order to get x alone, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So my final answer should be x equals 9. Okay? A few quick things before we dip out. Remember that you can represent a multiplication symbol with this little dot. And also remember, when you work these problems out, you need to make sure that you line up your equal signs as you go down. This way you can keep the problem organized and make sure that you're doing all the steps that you need to do. Now that you're finished with this video, you can move on. Once you show Ms. Fersner and get your name taken off the task grid, you can move on to the next activity in your task sheet. Catch you later.